Well, one of Charlie Kirk's last company-wide directives was to carry out a DOGE-style audit at Turning Point USA. He confided that there were significant money problems, possible embezzlement, maybe fraud. He wanted to get to the bottom of it. Why were they burning through cash so quickly? It seems odd. Here's the memo that he sent to staff just 8 days before he was assassinated on September 2nd. He wrote this, and he lays out in this memo his plans for the audit. He tasked his new COO, Justin Stariff, with assembling a team to boost efficiency, cut costs, align metrics, reshape the company culture. Insiders knew that what was going on, and they said that Charlie was concerned about how they were burning through so much cash so quickly. Where was all this money coming from? And by the way, where was it all going? Was it being spent on vendors, like ridiculous amounts for vendors at different live events? Like, where was all this money going? Then right after his death, investigative journalist Brian Ferentz, right after his death, Brian Ferentz wrote this. Investigative journalist Brian Ferentz said, maybe we should be transparent about the TPUSA donor list, what foreign countries they represent, where the money went, and why Tyler Boyer canceled the DOGE-style audit and culture change Charlie Kirk ordered as his last wishes. Yeah, why would Tyler Boyer cancel Charlie's final big wish? Like a big company-wide directive. It's kind of odd, isn't it? To audit all of this funny money, wouldn't you want to get to the bottom of that? It's not just investigative journalists like Brian asking these questions. Now dozens of longtime TPUSA donors are asking and saying the very same thing. They've been making public statements about it online. They're pulling their donations because they smell something funny going on here, and they want answers. They want answers about Charlie's death. They want answers about the money, where it was going, where it was coming from, all of that. Journalist Brian Ferentz is back on the show, and it's great to have you back, Brian. Thank you. Man, you've really ruffled some feathers.
You're killing it, Guy.
Over there, man.
I love it.
Trying to get answers about where all this money is going. Like, people don't want to, Brian, don't ask these questions. Like, you're digging in too deep here. When did you start smelling a rat?
Thanks, Clayton and Natalie, again for having me on the show. In terms of, when did I start smelling a rat? I think it really goes back to when Tyler Boyer, he was running the Arizona State Party annual meeting. I'm an elected state committeeman as well. And at that point, there was objections over electing the now AZ GOP chairwoman, Gina Swoboda, regarding her eligibility because she moved districts. And Tyler Boyer at the time was backing her, so he pushed that through. He just lied to everyone, like 1,000 people on stage, pushed it through. He was later recorded in the lobby admitting that he lied. And then in less than a year, he turned around and is, staging a coup against the same chairwoman, Gina Swoboda, that he endorsed less than a year ago. So that raised some questions, along with pushing really the ballot chasing and targeting of low propensity Republican voters, which if you're doing mail-in ballots, that often results in historic losses for Republicans. It's a bad strategy. They don't do anything on election integrity. They don't want to end the machines because they make all their money from bread and butter. So that's really when I smelled a rat, started looking into Tyler Boyer, Turning Point USA, and what they were doing. In regards to this post from current donors, there's just a couple quotes that I'll read. Basically, one of them is saying they've been a TPUSA donor for years. They love Charlie Kirk, but this immediately moving on after Charlie Kirk's assassination without questioning any of the obvious anomalies surrounding his death. We need to seek truth about what happened on that horrific day and seek real justice for Charlie. And some of these are very large donors. Some of them are very small donors. But one of them said, agreed, I've stopped my donations. I'm not huge, but $25,000 a year is $25,000 a year. And then another one said, I donate every year to TPUSA. I too am halting my donations until I see the DOGE audit completed and a change in your culture.
Wow.
Was this a deliverable for donors? What Charlie's wish for the audit? Because when I first saw it, it broke after his death, in the immediate aftermath, and I figured that it had to do with outlays, with expenditures. Where's all the money going? But now we see how often he was losing donors. So there has to be also questions about inlays, not just outlays. And so do you think that, his donors were ever supposed to see this audit?
Well, that's a good question, and let me address a couple of things there. So I've written, again, on my X profile at Brian Ferentz 1, you can follow me, or brianferentz.com, but I've written a few things questioning these donors and some of the financial practices, because basically what Turning Point USA does is they're a 501c3, and if you look at where some of their funds have come from, they've had very large donations from other organizations, NGOs typically, which received USAID funding. Oh. So there was a post, and they dispute, we never received any USAID funding. Well, not directly, but you were one donation away from these NGOs that received millions or hundreds of thousands, and then they turned right around and donated hundreds of thousands to Turning Point USA. So that's one source of the funding, is USAID. Which has been identified as fraudulent and misuse of taxpayer money. There's a lot of
yes. Also, they fund the drug trade, have been for years in Asia. So okay, go on.
Exactly. And then there's a lot of talk that a lot of these donations, again, because they hide their donors, are coming from maybe AIPAC, maybe directly from Israel. I mean, there was a lot of commentary from Netanyahu's government saying, they were making donations to TPUSA or had discussions about donations with Charlie Kirk. So I think there is evidence that TPUSA was directly taking foreign donations in the past. Charlie wanted to stop that. So I think it's very concerning, the fact that this DOGE audit appears to have been canceled. It was kind of downplayed as, this is a normal every year audit. I think Andrew Colvett, the spokesperson for TPUSA, said that. But that's not true. Charlie doesn't call for a culture change. And it's not like every audit, because your founder was just assassinated. So this is not like every audit. It really needs to be looked into. That's what the donors are demanding. And they're saying, as soon as they went public with that, they started being hounded by Turning Point USA employees and their little shills that they have online. And it's interesting to draw...
Wait a minute, can you explain that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
You mentioned to me, you and I were chatting offline, but they started being hounded. How so?
So one donor said, as soon as he posted that he was withholding his donations, he immediately got a bunch of messages online, basically harassment from people saying, you never donated, you're a liar, you need to keep donating, threatening to dox them. And I just want to draw the comparison that, there was another scandal that TPUSA was involved with, this Halloween costume from teachers in the Tucson School District of Vail. And they wore these costumes that had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk at all. And again, Andrew Colvett and Tyler Boyer and Jake Hoffman were posting and reposting, basically saying, look, they're glorifying Charlie Kirk's assassination. And these teachers were doxxed, they were threatened, they were harassed, and it was all a lie. And the school, apologized for it. They said, we're saddened by this situation, had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. We do apologize. We won't wear the shirts again, but people are being targeted and threatened as a result of this. And it's a pattern of behavior for TPUSA that as soon as they don't like something, they go after you. They harass you, they dox you, they threaten you online, they try to cancel you. And they're doing that with their own donors now.
Where do things stand now with this DOGE-style audit? Because I think from your reporting on this, that Tyler Boyer canceled the audit. I mean, it's pretty brazen. I mean, 8 days before his assassination, he's calling for this audit, and that would be something you would think as a company, we want to honor Charlie Kirk's maybe last company-wide large directive to change the culture, to find out where all of this money is going. Nope. Now it seems like it's just swept under the rug. Is that right?
Yeah, it has been swept under the rug. It's definitely been downplayed by both Colvett and Boyer. But what I would call this new COO of TPUSA, Justin Strafe, he was appointed in that same memo, Where's Justin? Justin, why aren't you commenting on this audit? What's the progress? Has it been canceled? Are you going to, follow through on Charlie Kirk last wishes and the donors' wishes, or are you going to bow to Tyler Boyer, who allegedly has hired or placed, most of the leadership, most of the board with TPUSA, and controls everything from the shadows? And where's Erica Kirk? Erica, you need to push for this. I mean, your husband wanted this. He wrote it. Why is she not making a statement? Yes, this is going forward. We're going to do this. We're going to clean things up. Donors, don't worry. I'm shocked there's no statement from Erica Kirk on this.
You know what this reminds me of? The movie Gladiator is when Marcus Aurelius is killed because his son wants the throne and he's about to hand it to, it just feels very much like the leader's been killed and the people around him all have a vested interest in moving on from his death and asking no questions. Does that resonate with anybody else? Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
that's what the donors are saying. I mean, it's resonating with the donors. The donors are saying that in their messages. You can just read them online. I spent, a couple of days now reading through these donors' messages, and they're all saying the same thing. Like, you guys you're attacking other people for questioning what caused the death of Charlie Kirk, and you're moving so quickly beyond it. I'm pulling my money. Large donors.
That's right. And it's a pattern of gaslighting that TPUSA, particularly Tyler Boyer and, their consultant in ads, Jake Hoffman, that they do that all the time. That anyone that dares question Charlie's assassination is, an evil person, and how dare you? Anyone that dares question this lie we made up about, these poor teachers in Tucson wearing, Halloween shirt, how dare you? Any donors that dare cancel your donations, how dare you? And it's just crazy. Even after both Colvett and Hoffman put out statements walking back, the TPUS lies about the Halloween costumes, but then they just double down again and say, well, it's bad that they're doing this anyways. Never mind about Charlie Kirk, but teachers shouldn't wear these kind of costumes. And they're just still threatening them, still harassing them, even though the lie has been completely proved to be false.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just TPUSA, right? It's like TPUSA Faith. Like, there's other pieces of all of this, and it's not just this main body. And there's questions across the board.
That's a great point. So TPUSA is the 501c3, and for many years, if you look at their financials, they've been donating directly to the 501c4, which is Turning Point Action, which is a political group. That in of itself is a violation of the IRS rules for nonprofits. If you look at the IRS rules, and then they're basically doing some kind of shell game. Many people have alleged or compared it to Enron, the way Enron had so many shell companies. There are dozens of TPUSA related PACs, nonprofits, TPUSA Faith. There's in other countries. Every state has multiple ones. If you look at in Wisconsin, I've written about this before, there was something like 13,000, 14,000, or I'm sorry, 140,000 in donations all throughout the states, basically in a coup attempt of the state parties and the county parties there. So they're running it all through these shell companies, these shell PACs. Really, it all needs to be audited by a third party because there's also allegations that where's the money going? Some of it appears to be going to bribes, has been alleged, and the evidence shows that. And then some of the money may have been embezzled or directly directed to sub-companies of the executives. For example, it's been alleged that Tyler Boyer himself and, for example, Jake Hoffman owns many companies. All that money comes in and they just do a no-bid contract directly to vendors that they themselves own. So this nonprofit money is flowing and it's coming into the 501c4, maybe other shell companies, and it's going directly into their pockets.
No bid. Hey, we've got a vendor for this event. Don't have to bid it out at all. It'll just flow right into our, very interesting. Brian, you've been doing a great job. Our chat room is like, man, Brian is bold. Keep it up, my friend. I mean, I know you get attacked, but hey, follow the money here. And people are demanding answers. And if you don't believe Brian or I or anybody else, just look at the donors who are pulling up their money and they want answers. So I hope that you're right. Justin steps forward and makes a declaration about where this DOGE audit sits. We're going to do it in Charlie's honor. We're going to do it transparently with a third-party company so everyone can see it, because this is really starting to sound very, very dirty. Brian, thank you so much for your great work. You can follow Brian on X and where he writes and does some great work. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.